Good afternoon, everyone, and to all our dear panelists and chairperson, and all to our research advisor. Good afternoon. We are 4B marketing students, and we are TW09 group. We will be presenting our thesis paper entitled "Factors Affecting Consumer Buying Behaviors of Generation Z's and Selected Milky Shops in SM Davao City." So, my group mates Ibi Caballero, Santos, Tuazon, and Yapo Luis. So, for chapter 1, it includes background of the study, theoretical and conceptual framework, statement of the problem, hypothesis of the study, objectives of the study, significance of the study, and scope and limitations.
So, for our background of the study, what is milk tea? Milk tea originated in Tainan in Taichung, Taiwan in the 1980s. It was designed by Liu Hanqie, the owner of a Taiwanese tea shop, and Lin Hu Hui, his product development manager. So, why do we choose milk tea? Milk tea becomes the most popular drink and trend. Many consumers are addicted to milk tea because it is famous for its health advantages and distinctive flavor and blend. Milk tea is popular among the younger population, mainly Generation Z, which is our target respondents. It is a beverage that can make everyone happy and a craze rapidly spreading worldwide. Generation Z is one of the driving forces behind the success of every milk tea business because they rapidly adapt to and capture the attention of what every Generation Z consumer demands.
The theoretical framework. We'll be using the consumer behavior theory, a five-stage process on the decision-making of a certain person or individual. Problem recognition. This is what triggers a certain person to be interested in that product or service. Number two, information search. This is where a certain person or individual searches for information on a certain thing to know more about that product or service. Number three, evaluation of alternatives. They find another way that is cheaper or better to compare the certain product or service that they already chosen. They just want to know which one is better or which ones to compare. Number four, purchase decision. This is where they decided to purchase that certain product or avail that certain service. And number five, post purchase behavior. This is how they feel after purchasing the product. Do they feel happy, satisfied, or sad? So this is based on their feelings, neither positive or negative. The second theory that we chose is the macro environment factors by Kotler and Armstrong. Among the six factors, we only chose four out of six. We excluded demographic and political since it's very irrelevant in our study. So we're left with the economic, cultural, technological, and natural. A short description in the four factors that we chose. Economic, how it relates to our study, are the inflation of prices. Do buyers find it expensive or inexpensive due to the inflation of prices? So that changes their behavior on buying the certain products in the store. Number two, natural. These are for the health conscious or the eco friendly conscious type of people. Do the shops use um, biodegradable or non-biodegradable materials? Do they use eco-friendly materials? So that matters with the motivation of the buyers buying in these stores. Number three, technological. This relates to how social media spreads the word to many buyers because of the hype and social media, given that there are people who get affected and influenced to buy this certain product because certain people or friends that they see in social media purchase them. So they get affected. And this brings us to cultural because the Filipinos, us Filipinos, we love to hop in the trend and get in the bandwagon. A crowd mentality that if one person buys this, then most of us will eventually buy that certain thing because it's a hype. And kumbaga, we call it uso. So that's why it relates to our study. And then this is further discussed in our RRL in the next slides.
We, the researchers, will explore the factors affecting the consumer buying behavior of Gen Z on selected milk tea shops in Davao City. The variables are presented in the figure below. The independent variable is the macroenvironmental factors, while the dependent variable is the consumer buying behavior. These studies sought to ascertain the Generation Z's purchasing habits at selected milk tea shops within SM Mall in Ecoland, Davao City. It intended to provide answers to the following questions. First, what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age, sex, and source of income? Second, what is the level of buying behavior of Generation Z on selected milk tea shops in SM Ecoland in terms of problem recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior? Third, is there any significant relationship between macro-environmental factors and consumers' purchasing behavior of milk tea shops in Davao? And lastly, do macro-environmental factors influence consumer behavior?
So, for the hypothesis of the study, there is no significant relationship between Generation Z's macro environmental factors and purchasing behavior of selected milk tea shop in SM Davao City. So, also, the macro environmental factors do not influence the consumer's buying behavior. For our objective of the study, first is to know and determine the level of macro environmental factors in terms of economic, cultural, technological, and natural. Second, to know the effectiveness of reviews, perceptions, and recommendations towards the purchasing behavior of consumers on the online platforms. Third, is to specifically identify the process of how consumer buying behavior changes relation to e-commerce. And lastly, to identify the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age, sex, occupation, or source of income. For the significance of the study, the findings of the study will identify the macro environmental factors and how they influence the consumer purchasing behavior of Gen Zs in selected milk tea shops in SM Davao City. So, recognizing those individual customers' purchase behaviors in light of the new norm. So, our study will assist all consumers, the Ateneo community, the buyer and seller perspective, all the future researchers. It will also assist company owners in determining how to use suggestions to learn about customer purchasing habits. So, our study aims to give beneficiaries with enough knowledge on how important the macro environmental factors to every consumer's purchasing behavior.
So for our scope and limitations, the study will be done virtually through online surveys. The questionnaires will be distributed online via email and messenger. The respondents will be the customers of milk tea stores in Davao City. The majority of individuals who buy milk tea are Gen Z, most likely to be aged 10 to 25. The study will gather necessary information from name, age, and source of income.
So hello everyone, I'm Denise Caballero, and I'm going to explain our Chapter 2 review of related literature. First, macro-environmental factors. Markets have different norms or environmental requirements which might affect an organization's profitability in those areas. States may have varied environmental and liability rules even within the same country. The Philippines is the second most populous country in Southeast Asia regarding bubble tea consumers. When COVID-19 struck in the Philippines, many businesses suffered, particularly in the food industry. As a result, while the challenge of cleanliness and safety in consuming food and beverage, management pursues vaccinated employees who are periodically compelled to sterilize themselves and the working environment. One of the most effective ways to deal with this pandemic is to embrace technology. Facebook, Instagram, Foodpanda, Grab, and other digital platforms are the primary mechanism by which management communicates and continue to provide service.
So for the economic, the global bubble tea market is estimated to reach 3.39 billion US dollars by 2027 with a 7.2% CAGR throughout the forecast period. Fortune Business Insights examined its most recent study. Most firms can endure a temporary increase in the cost of goods for several months or even a year. However, if the cost of item continues to rise, bubble tea owners will be forced to raise their prices. It is because most economists think that a small amount of inflation benefits the company. This is because it promotes business growth and encourages investment.
The consumer's own culture and subculture are included in culture variables. It contains the fundamental beliefs, the perspective of every individual, the taste, the habit they get from the people around them or from their family, they pick up from the institution they are with. As today's generation evolves, according to Samyuta 2013, individuals can now make decisions, exercise their physical evaluation towards every products or services. A lot of individuals today who belongs to Gen Zs are very health conscious, so they made it a point to include a healthy diet even if milk tea is a part of their eating routine already. So most individuals are really health conscious. That's why in Health, Harap and the Silva's 2011 study, Strategies for Competitive Advantage in Value-Added Tea Marketing, the global tea marketing is expanding quickly and meeting the consumer demands, which is the demand of the consumers. Usually next to water, tea is the most popular beverage in the world. And as we observe, milk teas are sold everywhere, and it's now a favorite drink of every people. It offers alternative to soda, coffee, and smoothies. That's why, according to Jacobson et al. 2009, the need to explore the various health advantages tea offers is really evident because, as we can see, it's really part of the routine of every individuals. That's why other milk tea shops offers uh, sugar level towards the customers because customers are very crucial when it comes to sugar. They give choices like 75%, 100%, 50, or no sugar at all. So, as we all know, everyone loves to drink tea, even Generation Z, because it's fresher and healthier. Tea is becoming a lifestyle drink and a real trend for this generation.
RRL explanation of technological, natural, and purchasing behavior. In the first paragraph in Technological, Raimundo et al. 2017, his explanation is that in the consumer industry, being advanced in technology means that it's a better advantage against your competitors. Therefore, the faster you make the products, like the milk tea products, the packaging, the faster and the better you make it, the better you are compared to the competitors. In the second paragraph, the preparation method boiling from the tapioca et al. By Liu 2020, it means that if the methods to make the milk tea is very advanced, that means that you have the machine that is also capable of making different flavors of the product is better. And this is how it helps certain consumers want to buy that certain product that this shop or store is selling. It's because of the how they package and how they also serve the food with by heart and taste. So that's what makes them love to buy these products. Second is the natural. I'll read the paragraph. Customers that are concerned about their health and also customers who support shops that are going green. As I've mentioned earlier, natural, meaning from the word natural, many of these customers are health concerned and also eco-friendly. They want these certain stores to be eco-friendly. So they look for these in stores or shops that sell natural or organic milk tea, and also the ingredients should be also organic. So this is what motivates them to purchase these products. And lastly, purchasing behavior. So in the first paragraph in More 2019, it says that various milk tea drinks are sweetened greatly. However, bubble milk tea stands out most, and its market share has been expanding in the recent years with a projected growth of more than 8.5% between 2018 and 2019. It is not only in the Philippines that bubble milk tea chain is a popular drink. With over 49 brands in Malaysia as of 2019, these bubble milk tea chains are sprouting up like mushrooms. So, meaning to say, people as Filipinos have a sweet tooth. So, therefore, we love these milk teas because it's sweet. And this is what appeals us buyers to purchase more of this milk tea products. Therefore, this is how, combined with technological natural purchasing behavior, these three factors, this is what motivates people to purchase these products.
For our Chapter 3 methodology, first we have research design. This study will utilize a quantitative correlational research design. Quantitative research is applicable since the study involves measurements and data analysis for trends and relationships, assuming that the data under the study is measurable. Next is research local. Milk tea is gaining popularity and blooming in the Philippines, particularly in Davao. To arrive at more reliable data, the target respondents of the study were individuals who were part of Generation Z and still reside in Davao City. For our respondents, the study target respondents are Davao City residents aged 10 to 25 years old. Such individuals who belong to the Generation Z will be the subject of the study to extract information from these individuals through specifically crafted survey questionnaires. For our sample design, the study will use a purposive sampling method. This is because the study will focus on the Generation Z milk tea consumers of Davao City aged 10 to 25 years old. For sample size, according to Delhi's 2010, 100 samples should be recognized in survey research. It is observed that most statisticians agree that to collect a meaningful result, and 100 respondents is the minimum. For sampling frame, the sampling frame used in the study will be based on the respondents' geographic location, Davao City, and the age range of 10 to 25 is Generation Z. Individuals outside of Davao City will not be included in the sampling frame. For statistical treatment, this study will utilize Google Forms to collect, tabulate, and interpret respondents' data. The essential graph and charts that are appropriate in presenting certain data will be used and presented. To determine the level of buying behavior of Generation Z in selected milk tea shops in SM Ecoland, the study will use mean score and test the relationship between macro-environmental factors and the buying behavior of Generation Z. Pearson will be utilized. For research instrument, in this study, survey questionnaires were used by the researchers as their research instrument, would be based on the independent variable derived from the macroenvironmental theory. The respondents may respond from 1 to 5. 1 is strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. The mean and the mean range, shown in Table 1, were utilized to determine the level of agreement on the questions presented. The scale was prepared as a 5-point Likert type. Likert scales are shown in Table 1 below.
Data collection method. The researchers must decide which research design will be used in the study, then proceeds with the systematic procedure and start working on the data collection. Then the researchers will prepare a questionnaire, and then the questionnaire will undergo validation by research experts. Afterwards, the researchers will prepare a letter to the research professor asking permission to conduct the study. The researchers will then conduct a preliminary survey to determine the possible respondents for the study since it utilizes the purposive sampling method. The researchers will then conduct data collection after identifying the respondents. Questionnaires will be sent through email and Facebook Messenger. The data collected from the questionnaire will then be tabulated and analyzed. Then the research will then consult a professional statistician for the data interpretation. Based on the study's results, the researchers will then formulate a conclusion and recommendation for the study.